Well, good morning. It's another work day, beautiful Saturday morning here at John and Frida's warehouse. And so I got another project going on today. I'm going to clean the mass airflow sensors and the throttle bodies on our three vehicles. I'm going to start with my 1999 Chevrolet S10 pickup truck. It's a four-wheel drive. It's got the V6 in it, Vortex 4.3. It's a good old truck. It's got close to 200,000 miles on. It's been a good truck for me, but the throttle body has never been cleaned, and the mass air sensor has never been cleaned. Now the mass air sensor is located right here. It's this piece right here between the air filter box and the throttle body. The throttle body is located right here under this plastic intake, and that's where I'm going to begin working today. I'm going to pull all of this off, and I'm going to take this mass airflow sensor out, and I'm going to try to clean it with this mass airflow CRC sensor cleaner. Now these airflow sensors are very delicate, and you can only clean them with the type of cleaner that's made for and recommended for these. So I'll be using this mass airflow sensor cleaner on the airflow sensor on my truck, on Frida's Enclave, and on my little Toyota Solara convertible. And then I'm going to clean the throttle bodies of all three vehicles with this Berryman B12 Chem Tool Professional Carburetor Choke and Throttle Body Cleaner. Picked this stuff, both of these up, I think at AutoZone, and this was, I think, about $5, and the mass air sensor was about $9, so it's not too bad. And I hope that once I get them clean, things will run smooth. And my little truck's been idling a little rough lately, and so I figured it's time to clean the throttle body and mass air sensor. So I'm going to take it all apart, and we'll pick up in just a few minutes when I get everything taken apart. See you later. Okay, the first thing I did was to loosen these four little screws that hold my air box on, because the air box is going to have to come off. I'll probably need to change my air filter too. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 5/16 and I'm going to loosen these bands that hold the air box onto the to the throat of the sensor. I'm going to get that good and loose, and then I'm also going to loosen this one on this side of the sensor, so I can pull the collar off of there and get that off. And then I will take the throttle body loose by, or the throttle body cover, the intake cover, off by just simply unloosening this screw here, this little wing nut here, and pull that out, and I'll be able to pull my throttle body off of there. So that's what we're doing right now. I'll show you the finished product when we get it off. Okay, I have everything taken apart now. There's my air filter. I don't know how well you can see it, but she's really dirty. I probably need to replace it, but today I'll just kind of clean it up a little bit and put it back in so I don't have to make a trip to the parts store. But I have the cover off, the intake cover off of the throttle body, and there it is laying on the ground. And here is the throttle body, and you can see she's not real dirty, but you know, when you open the butterfly, you open the throttle plate, yeah, she's not really clean. So I'm gonna put some throttle body cleaner in that and clean that up, and hopefully get my truck idling a little better. And I'm going to clean the airflow sensor. So I've got the top of the air cleaner box off, and I've got the airflow sensor here, and you can see inside the airflow sensor, I don't know how well you can see, but there are little tiny wires that go across the airflow sensor, and those wires get dirty and they cause the sensor to give a false reading to the electric control module, and it affects the idling of the vehicle. So if your vehicle is idling kind of rough, more than likely you have a airflow sensor that needs to be cleaned. Now, the parts stores and the dealers would love to sell you a new one, but you don't need a new one. All you have to do is take some of this CRC mass airflow sensor cleaner, and remember, you have to have specific cleaner for this thing because it's very sensitive. Plus, this stuff dries up very quickly and won't leave anything on the sensor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit it over here on the ground, so I don't get on my my pad here, so I don't get a lot of stuff on the it's hard to do holding the camera, so I don't get a lot of stuff on my driveway, and I'm basically going to just spray out this mass airflow sensor and clean it up. So I'm going to just shake it up really good and give it a good spray, and I'll show you that in just a second. So set my camera up so you can see a little better. I'm just going to take this airflow sensor cleaner, and I'm going to give it a few little shots with this. Not a lot at one time, just a couple of 2-second squirts, and I'm going to let it sit for a minute, and I'll wipe it out with a cloth here in a few minutes, but it doesn't need much more than that. Then I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to take my nozzle, and I don't know if you can see inside here very well, but you can see how dirty that screen is for the sensor. So I'm going to take my spray, and I'm going to give that a few little quick shots, and you can see how clean it's coming. I don't know if you can see that or not, but you can see through it now. Before you couldn't. It was that dirty. So I'm not surprised that my little truck wasn't idling the way it should. So I'm going to give it another blast or two all the way around, just to be sure that it does what I want it to do, and cleans it good, and hopefully that will be all she needs. That airflow sensor doesn't need a lot. This mass airflow sensor cleaner does a really good job. Let's see what it looks like on the other side now. Yeah, so that's looking pretty good. I'm going to give it another shot or two. On that side, yeah, that's looking really good. And then I'm going to give it another shot or two on the inside. And that's looking really great. So that should take care of the mass airflow sensor. Now I'm going to just clean my throttle body a little bit. I'm going to set this out and let it dry really well before I put it back on the vehicle. So that's really easy to do if your vehicle's not idling the way it should. More than likely you've got problems in that airflow sensor. Don't replace it, just clean it up real good. It'll make a lot of difference. So anyway, I'm gonna set this aside, and I'm gonna work on the throttle body for a little while. So I'll talk to you later. Okay, I'm back to the throttle body now. I was going to pull this throttle body off, and clean it, but there's so much to take off here to take the whole throttle body off. I thought since it's not so very dirty, I'm just going to clean it on the vehicle. Now the engine's not going to like this stuff when I crank it up, and it's going to smoke a little bit, but it's going to be okay. The first thing I'm going to do is just take this this B12 Chem Tool professional carburetor, choke, and throttle bottle cleaner, and I'm just going to spray a little bit into the throttle body, just a little bit right there, and just kind of let it sit for a minute. And I just don't want to get stuff on the sensors too bad, so we're going to put that on there like so, and let it sit for a minute. And then I'm going to take my rag and I'm going to wipe it off really good in here. I'm going to clean all the gunk and the deposits off of it as much as I can, really well, or as well as I can, just like this. Now instead of spraying this stuff all down into the intake, I'm just going to open my intake up, and as well as I can, I'm going to clean, and you can see how that's coming off. I'm going to clean as well as I can clean this throttle body. I'm going to put some cleaner on my rag and wet it really well, and it will dissolve a lot of these deposits on the intake. Let me get that as clean as I can, and you can see the results. I might get me a toothbrush in here and clean some of that as well as I possibly can, but I want to get it good and clean, as much as I can get clean. And I'm gonna put a little bit of cleaner on it. I'm just going to wet it a little bit all the way around. And again, when I crank her up, she's going to smoke. But I'm going to go get me a toothbrush now, work the inside of it. I've gotten a nylon bristle brush now, and I'm going to soak it with the with this carburetor, the throttle body cleaner, that nylon bristle brush. I'm going to put some on it, and I'm going to get it down here and just try to scrub around and clean it as best I can. And you can see it's working. It's coming up. It's cleaning. Man, that stuff's coming off great. Man, that thing is dirty. And then I'm going to spray it just a little bit more, and then I'm going to wipe it down, do my best to clean around all the edges of that throttle body and get it as clean as I can. And I'll spray some more throttle body cleaner in it, and then I'll crank it up in a little bit. Let's give it a couple of squirts here like this. Try to get as much of that out of there as I can. Take my screwdriver, get that down in there. Try to dry as much of that up as I can and clean this port on the side here as much as possible. Dry it out. Then I'm going to take my rag and I'm going to do my best to clean the top portion and get as much of that cleaner out, because I don't want any more than I have to go into the intake. Okay, and I'm going to clean that out really well. Let's open her up and let's give her a good cleaning here. So that's doing really well. I'm glad I got that B12 Chem tool. It really does a good job at cleaning that up. Let me get down in here with my rag and remove as much of this film as I possibly can. And she should be cleaned out fairly well. Get my screwdriver, run my rag down in here as much as I can and clean that side out. I'm trying not to scar up the inside of my throttle body. But there, looks pretty good. Much cleaner than it was before. I will probably spray a little bit of this into the intake when I crank the truck and see what it'll do. So there we go with the cleaning of the throttle body. It's not a big deal, and hopefully it'll make a difference in the way my truck runs and idles. Okay, I've cleaned out my mass airflow sensor and got it very clean. I have cleaned my air filter. I'm going to replace that air filter. I just don't want to make a trip to the parts place today. But I blew it out real good with compressed air. I have cleaned the connections and just lubed them up a little bit to get all the air box back on. And of course I cleaned the throttle body, and it looks a whole lot better, you can see. So that's what we do it, and that's the way we clean the throttle body. Alright, we've got him all put back together now, and we're going to fire him up. We've got the breather cover back on. We've got the mass airflow sensor cleaned really good, and we got the throttle body cleaned really good. And we're going to fire him up. I think she'll probably smoke a little bit since we got some throttle body cleaner down in the intake, but we'll just see how she does. My neighbor's blowing leaves, so I'm sure you hear that in the background, but let's go around and see if she'll crank and see what she does. Oh yeah, it's running good. I'll let her run just a second and pick up her idle. I turned around and looked. She didn't smoke much. Oh yeah, she's running a lot smoother now. A whole lot smoother now. And there she comes back down to a good around 900 RPM idle. That's what we want. I think that's going to make a big difference in it. Oh yeah. That should give me a little more power. I'm going to take her out on the road in a minute and see how she does, but every vehicle after a while gets dirty. That mass airflow sensor gets dirty, and your throttle body gets dirty, and cleaning it up will help your gas mileage. It'll also help your horsepower. So anyway, I hope this video has helped you out in understanding how to clean your mass airflow sensor, and I'm going to do my other two vehicles now. I've got a 2007 Toyota Solara and a 2011 Buick Enclave, and I'm going to clean both of those while I'm at it this morning. Alright, thanks for watching my video, and I'll talk to you later.